I was about to say 2017 was around the time I remember first hearing about Fly Anakin, and
Yeah,
then like Pink Siifu has been more of something I've learned about in
recently.
2019 and 2020. Uh,
Hmm.
and this has been the first project that I really saw fit for either one of them to like right when this thing drops, it's on my calendar. I know it's coming. I'm ready to listen to it. And we're going to talk about it on the podcast. Because even for like Ensley, which was a
Right.
2018 thing, I didn't really find out about that till 2019. And then for Negro, when that came out, it wasn't really something that I was that crazy about myself, although I did listen to it. So that didn't quite hit. The Fly Anakin projects, I've tried one out that I didn't care for much. And then, so like, it's been a slow build for both of these artists for me to now come
Hmm.
and basically say that, at least for this week, they've dropped my favorite album of the week. And this week was pretty
Okay.
heavy. I would say that. So I'll get into why I particularly enjoyed this. It doesn't have a lot of features. It's not. I mean, yeah, in that sense, it's not pulling out all the stops, right? It's not getting with all these names that we know that they fuck with, because there are a lot of other rappers that are friends with both of these rappers that we like. So it's not one of those who's who kind of projects, not unlike um, the Oblivion project with all the features on it,
Right.
or one of these other kind of projects in this realm. This I kind of feel like gets to the best qualities of both artists. Again, I love Fly Anakin's voice. I love his spit. I love I love Pink Siifu and his voice and the way that he raps, but I also love his atmosphere, which I think kind of
Hmm.
dominates the presence of the sound of this particular album. I feel like the Pink Siifu atmosphere is there. And my favorite atmosphere that he can produce, because he can kind of do a few different things, is that smoky, hazy,
Right.
dusty, kind of old timey, boom bappy, almost backpack, but kind of, it's got those beautiful but left of center sampling. So I feel like that's all there in this project. And then, for Fly Anakin, like he can just be him, the rapper. In a lot of cases, like he can just come to a track that's already pretty dope and just, you know, add that special thing to it. So,
Right.
a long story short, you kind of get the best of both worlds with this project, and I feel like they even each other out. Fly Anakin isn't as, I hate to say like boring to me, on this project, and Pink Siifu isn't quite as overstimulating for me
Hmm.
with this project, and I feel like they meet at a really interesting halfway point there for the whole album.
There's not a lot of dead space or wasted space on this
Yeah.
thing. And even when there might not be somebody rapping, there's very intricate and, like you said, beautiful sampling that fills any kind of void that might be left from a dragging album. You put this thing on, and if you have the time to just kind of like sit back and enjoy it, it's almost like watching a show that doesn't take up too much of your attention, but
It's
you can always kind of like look back and be like, oh shit, like this is a good scene or something. Like
it keeps a really
I just felt,
consistent flow and pace, doesn't it? It like
yeah, the
kind of
pace is
feels the
amazing.
same always.
And I wanted to say, you mentioned there's not a lot of features, which there isn't. There's like
There's two
five total, and
live.e
two of them are the same
features,
person.
and
Um,
yeah,
but they come at really opportune times. Like they come at times where you're like, oh, I needed just like that little refreshing guest appearance. Like the Silk Money verse is phenomenal,
right.
and the second,
If you're gonna only have like a handful of features on an album, and Silk Money is one of them,
right,
let's fucking go, okay? Like this album doesn't really, need so many features. So I like that
right,
they feel well placed. I like that they feel well chosen. Um, because again, these two guys could hit up a whole list of names that like me and you are already really excited about. But the fact
hmm,
that they delivered on a strong album, really without that, goes to show that there's real chemistry here, and that there's really something to be said about just Pink Siifu and just Fly Anakin on this.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. I feel like they've done a really good job of making a very complete album kind of feeling experience. Some of that is done with the music. Some of that is done with the extra skits that are added on. And also, there aren't a lot of features, but like you'll hear Baby Mother on a skit and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So there is still kind of like that world, I feel like I'm there. I feel like, it's all still, I'm still reminded of all these other artists that I like. But it doesn't depend on just like getting their names on these projects to actually do it. But yeah, I love that. I love that it does feel kind of like a movie to me. It feels like a black version of Clerks, honestly, with these two, and it being a record store instead of like a little convenience store or whatever Clerks was. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the most re-listenable projects of the year for me. I think it's um, I think it's coming out of one of my favorite scenes in music right now. Again, I haven't quite hit that point with Pink Siifu, but every time I hear a Pink Siifu feature right now, like that's one of the songs I'm excited about on an album. Or if it's on a single, like I'm definitely checking it out, even if it just has his name on it, because I know I can get like I could just get whatever. I could get anything when it
Mhm.
comes to this dude, and so yeah, I thought this was a really well thought out. I thought it was, it felt like they took their time on it and made something that they were really happy with. And I like the execution of, a small concept surrounding the album as well. And it kind of puts it into that category of well-rounded albums that have lyrics that I like. They have beats that I like. I'm not just going to this for one kind of specific thing or mood or vibe. Although they do keep a consistent vibe, um, they feel like very in their bag, very very in their bag. So I don't really have anything else to say about FlySiifu's. What about you?
Nah, man, I recommend this to anybody that fucks with. Like you said, there's so many artists that they are in the same kind of ballpark as, and um, I was kind of waiting for a moment where specifically Pink Seafood would kind of like make a mark like some of these other dudes did for me. And I think that this project for both of them, I think more unexpectedly for Fly Anakin, kind of did that for me. Where I'm like, okay, now I'm a little more, ready to take on. I mean, they both got a lot of music between them, so
Yeah,
but I'm ready to kind of make that deep dive.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. We'll keep it there. Good album. We definitely fucking recommend it. um,
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite from the week. But this next album we're gonna talk about ain't half bad either, actually. So let's make it happen, bro. Okay, he's putting the AirPod outside of the bathroom, so we don't gotta hear him pissing while I'm reviewing music over here. Thank you for doing that, Trent. You're the man. So let me tell y'all why we're reviewing this album. Let me tell you why we were even talking about this album. And it's because, you know, we know some people. We have some friends in the music business. And one of those really good friends, he goes by Smythe, Spencer, Smithers, Spinach,